So you're our first guest ever.
I'm the first guest.
Uh-huh.
Aw, you love me.
I really do.
Did you know that butterflies only experience one emotion? Rage.
Are you willing to go into the cave of your mind? The subconscious part, where memories are stored. Into the cave. Are you willing to go into the cave of your heart, where trauma lives? Are you willing to go into the cave of your life, to look for the skeletons that need to be examined? Remember our choice to find your voice. I know. Are you willing to choose the cave when times are rough? Things get rough. When you've had enough. I know sometimes. Are you willing to go into the cave, into the void, into the quiet spaces of your being, to find your true self? Into the void, into the cave. I think we were in a period of really focusing on love and how love is going to heal all, be the answer. And we almost idealize love. Mm-hmm. Like, love is just the gentleness. Mm-hmm. Love is just the, let me support you. Mm-hmm. Love is, right? Versus incorporating the other side of love that God wants us to incorporate, mm-hmm. which is understanding some things require boundaries. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's actually you need to sit down right now. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's, oh, you've been praying for that thing. That's amazing. I love your consistency. And also you're not ready.
Also, I think the bigger one is that love is not about possession. I swear my life has completely shifted now that I'm allowing myself to have full, open-hearted love experiences with everybody. And people will be like, oh my gosh, especially men, I've never felt this way before. And I'm like, I live here. Ooh. You just got here.
I live here. You just got here.
I live here.
Yes.
I have this experience with homeless people.
Yes, same. Actually, that's where all the answers are. Also, there's instructions that literally say, like, those who connect with the homeless and the children, like, that's where the kingdom of God is. Like, so if you do take that time, as you said, to have that open heart, and it's not easy all the time, because it also comes with a lot of trust. And I think where we get tripped up is we are expecting to trust in other people versus trusting ourselves and then trusting spirit. Like knowing that actually if I trust me, my intuition, and I trust spirit, then I can trust you. You want to know why? Because ultimately you're not running the show.
Literally nothing that you do has anything to do with me.
Right.
So unless you're going to like physically harm me, which if I have my discernment with me, which a lot of us do not utilize, but if I have my discernment, then I can feel like, oh, you're unsafe. But for the most part, people are fine.
I'm glad you said discernment, because I think what has been challenging for people with even embracing discernment and even listening to that gut instinct is not wanting to judge people. So then oftentimes we might get that hit, like, this is a no. And maybe the person is presenting with all of the right things. Like, this person seems safe, but why do I feel this thing? We start to question it, like, oh, am I being judgmental? And it's like, we can skip the step of questioning it. It could just be, maybe this person is lovely and is safe, but not for you.
Hello? Lovely, you can be lovely and unsafe. they can live together.
Yeah.
It's not all the time. I mean, it reminds me of so many relationships I've been in. You're lovely and unsafe. You should have stayed my friend.
You know.
But now you're so close to me. But having the discernment, because where the love piece comes in is I will not treat you different, even though I see that you have things with you. I'll still treat you well. I'll still be kind to you. I will not, but I'll also let you know, you got to work on that. In love.
You got to work on that
Yeah.
needs to happen.
Has to happen.
At the beginning of Into the Cave,
Yes.
we talk about a spirit animal. You know why that happened? Because there was the fly in episode 1. Okay. And it really was bothering me. So I was like, I have to name it in episode 2, because if there's anyone else that might have been distracted by this fly or like be frustrated with me, like, God, can she get the fly? Then I needed to like make it make sense. So I told the story about the fly. Went really well. And then after episode 2, we stopped filming. I'm going to unpack everything, and there's ants everywhere on the floor in the cave.
Oh no.
Ants everywhere. So I'm laughing with Matt, videographer, and I'm like, okay, so clearly Spirit is saying, you're going to start with a spirit animal again. So I'm looking at the ants. I'm like, okay, ants, what's the message? Talk to us. And then I go into these like rabbit holes, and I like researching like the science. A lot of people, when they see an insect or a spirit animal, a lot of people maybe just go, give me the information about the spiritual meaning of this animal. I like to hear that and also go into like the science, like what's just the natural behavior of an ant.
Yes.
Okay. So ants can carry 20 times their body weight.
Yes.
They roll together.
They do.
You can't get rid of them.
You can't.
Like you can if you get an exterminator on things, but if an ant is in your house, this isn't, oh, a fly, let me get it. This is, oh, they're coming to take over.
Yeah.
So what came through was community.
Mm-hmm.
And how oftentimes maybe we're that ant carrying 20 times our weight, but we don't have the strength of an ant to do that because we are removed or isolated from community. And if we did observe the ant and see how the ant rolls and how it passes down the trail and it dominates spaces. So I'm wondering, how can we as a society, as a people, incorporate the behavior of the ant? Ants are also highly sensitive. So the way that they actually hear is through vibration. So they sense into their environment and they kind of tap into it, and then that's how they know what direction to go in and things like that. So I'm like, wait, humans, we have similar systems. We'll feel that vibration like we were talking about with the discernment.
Yes.
The difference is, I think the ant is in this space of full surrender to its purpose and its calling. It's like, this, I'm an ant, this is what I do, and I like sweet things, and I'm going to go into the cracks of your house. Like, you can lock the doors, you can do all the things, but I'm going to figure out how to get in and get what I want.
Do a little tiny crack between your cabinet and the wall.
Right.
That doesn't have cement and
Exactly. And then they end up sticking together.
persistence.
You know?
They send one like, go check it out. See what it's like. Okay. And you'll just see like 5 rogue ones.
Yep.
If you don't get those rogue ones, it's only
You
a matter
already
of time.
know, because they already tell their peeps, like, yo.
Hooty hoo! Hootie hoo!
Like, they just cooked some vegan steak.
That's your house. I got regular steak in my fridge. The circle of life.
That part. That part.
I'm working on it.
Listen, I feel like outside of everything, something that really rang true to me and just being vulnerable is the loss and the grief of having a very strong memory of a time where we were rolling as ants, like as a tribe, as a community, and now it seems like everyone's kind of dispersed in their own pockets. And there's a part of me that deeply wants to connect with like many people. Going back to the assignment thing, right? So then the frustration is, if you're being like that, then I can't be with you, and I really want want to be with you. So it's like, please, please, please,
Yes.
get it together.
Yes.
That's where it comes from.
Yes.
So leaning back into like the grief part of things, it's like I am in a season now where I'm accepting the way things are, and also
The way things are here.
yeah.
Location is important.
Oh, this is I'm ready to hear. Tell me about your travels. Come on. What did you learn? Come on.
So I as you or anyone else who talks to me, listens to me, follows me, knows I talk to God more than anybody else. And when I say God, you know I'm talking about the Holy Spirit. Since I was a guide for you, at that time I was still this, just like everyone else who's considers themselves spiritual, kind of had to put everything to the side and go, okay, what's real around here? And so I went on my journey of being like, okay, Jesus, I understand you, but I'm not really convinced I should praise you. I need you to show me you in a new way. And not through church, not through people, through experiences, I got to see Jesus. And then I got to understand his function spiritually, as a person who spends a lot of time in the Spirit as well. And so that's just to be clear on who I'm talking to, because I know we're all talking to different gods. And so God told me, go to Honduras for 3 weeks and 3 days. And I was like, what?
That's how the messages be coming through though too. I'm like, what, 70 nights and 70 days? I'm like, what are you talking about?
3 weeks and 3 days. What's gone 7 years ago? So I'm like, and this is in maybe April.
Okay.
April, like beginning of April. And I was about to go to Playa del Carmen for 3 weeks. And I did, but I had this plan, like, ooh, I'm going to get to travel, but I bought this piano that folds in half. I bought a ring light. Like, I took my work on the road. So I was like, cool, I get vacation. I get to be in a new land and experiences, but I'm not losing money. I'm still making money. So I'm like, I cracked the code. And before I went on that trip, I heard Honduras, 3 weeks, 3 days, it's a sabbatical. You are not to work there. So I'm like, but I move in August. Like our logical minds when it comes to God would be like, that it's not possible for me to rest right now. Like not in that way. And it's so funny because when God tells you, go do this thing, you're like, okay, great. I have vision. I have purpose. I'm headed in this direction. But when God's like, okay, rest. And it's like, I can't rest. But all we want is rest. How come? How come we won't listen? So I really convinced myself, like, if God's telling me to rest, this seems like probably the best time. I'm sure I'm going to be fine. I'm sure I'll be provided for. I'm sure it's not like you're going to rest and everything's going to fall apart and you're not going to have what you need. So I heard, like, book it. Like, I'll explain it to you later, but don't delay, just book it. So I booked it. Of course, I go on the internet. Is Honduras safe? Absolutely not. Most unsafe place in Central America. I'm like, did I hear this correct? Honduras was supposed to be Houston. So I'm asking people, do you know anybody from Honduras? And one of my friends was like, I do. One of, our friend Suwani. So I get on the phone with her. She's from there. Apparently, not apparently, she's like a champion for this place. Yeah. So she tells me I should stay on the island Roatan. And I'm like, okay. So I go, tells me places to stay. God told me, I need you to re-enter community. Exactly.
Look at the ants.
Yeah. We're right here. Okay, right here. Right here. As you were talking, I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. This is my episode.
Yes.
The community episode.
Yeah.
As a person who went from, literally my response to him was, why? Why you want me to say, I don't want to do that. It's terrible.
Right?
And God's like, yeah, it's time. It's time for you to go be with the people. And I'm a person who's like, I'm like the sage on a hill,
Yep. You're like, come to me.
Come to me. Your life is changed. You go and I stay in this bubble. Yes. And you'll see me when you see me like a little fairy. Like, yes. Bova's here, and now she's not. But nobody can miss me, and nobody can hold me accountable for anything because I'm not actually in the community.
Oh, call it out. Dang. So you're gonna call out all of us community hoppers.
Right. And I wasn't trying to cop in any community. That's right. The thing. Since I was a kid, I mean, I grew up, people are cliquey. I grew up in church and pastor's kid and just like how people treated me. I got very used to like, oh, I'm good with me. I'm good. I'm cool with everybody. I don't need to get too, like, I can get real intimate and close with people in a particular kind of way when I'm invited. Due to, thank God I have a job that allows me to use my giftings in these ways. So people allow me to have close relationships, deep relationships with them that they probably don't even have with their friends. Right. And yet I don't have to deal with the rigmarole of what community can bring. The drama, the whatever it is, right? And so when God told me to re-enter community, I'm going to be obedient. So I'm like, all right. So a little bit, slowly but surely, I'm trying, I'm going outside more. I'm saying yes more. I burned myself out doing this, saying yes far too much because I'm a person who needs rest. I give a lot of myself. So I can't spend all my spare time hanging out with everybody. Yeah. But it was nice for people to say, hey, I'm doing this, come. And for me to say, okay. And for me to be there, even though I'm exhausted. Right. But I was there, and it was nice to experience that, to be able to give people that, to be there with them. Towards the end of the year, I get to, this is like October 2024, October 2023, maybe September. Something happened that catalyzed me recognizing that there was some anger that was really left in me. And because of the work that both of us do, I know if anger comes up, you got to deal with that. So I'm like, okay. Also because I know anger is not necessarily a bad thing. Right. Anger is indicating an injustice. Come on. Something that you didn't like, something that made you feel, whatever it is. Yes. And some of it might be undue, misplaced, projected, but still needs to be looked at and still needs to be acknowledged and accepted. And then it can transmute into our good old friend peace. Exactly. And so that journey, however, was not short. So I remember sitting on the couch one day and being like, God, what is this feeling that I have? And he said, numb. And I said, okay, what do I do with it? Because I'm good for, okay, we're going to move it out. We're going to move something else in. Right. We're going to switch it and then the thing. Then we're going to say a prayer and then, okay. We're done. And God was like, you're going to do what you're not good at. And I was like, okay, you can't think your way through this one. You have to feel your way through it. Cool, okay. Because you don't know yourself. Cool. When's the last time I knew myself? When you were 10. Now, this is the first time I knew about inner child work in this way. Everything that God's ever revealed to me has been organic in this way.
Yeah.
Then later I learned, like, oh, it's a whole form of therapy.
Uh-huh.
That's, yeah, literally there's like all these modalities that I have that have been learned in this way.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, there's like a sector of this. And so I go, 10-year-old self, are you here? And I heard, yes. And then I was like, how are you feeling? And she's like, I feel great. I'm like, well, who are you? She's like, I'm a wealth of creativity, and I'm like fun, and I'm this, and I'm an individual, and I'm, you know, she's having a blast, like literally. And I'm like, okay, so what do you need from me? She's like, to listen to me. I'm like, oh, okay, so you have the answers. Yep. And I was like, so then I asked her a question about something I was dealing with. And I was like, so what do you think about this situation that was like upsetting me? And she said, I think, what's the benefit of it changing? And I was like, you really are mean, really objective. And just like, I was like, okay, well then where did it all go wrong? 12-year-old self. So I was like, 12-year-old self, are you here?
Mm-hmm.
She said, leave me
Alone.
alone. I'm on my couch like, okay, got it. And she was furious.
Yep.
She was furious. And because God said, sit with it, for the first time in my life, what going into community, this exhaustion brought up was all of my community wounds.
Do, 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 do.
And so I was angry, I was furious. I grew up in a home where I was raised kind of by a system, if you will. Like, everybody was there,
Right.
but nobody was raising me. I was fed.
Yeah.
I got to school and back. I got to whatever little appointments and back, you know, checking on me. But
Right.
like, how am I doing? Like, who are you? What do you need? Like, nah. It was just, you know, I was a good kid, so she'll be all right. And so my 12-year-old self was like, I feel like a prop in the lives of the people around me. Like, she was like, she was pissed.
Yeah.
Pissed.
Yep.
And so because I had to sit with it, I had to learn how to, like, oh, I can go out in the world and be upset without having to lash out and project on everyone. So I'm feeling angry. So I'm just gonna stay like calm, and I can still, but now I can have some other different types of dynamic conversations as well. How are you feeling right now? Honestly, I'm pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be like, "Ah."
Right.
I can just acknowledge it. I'm annoyed.
When I was working with you, this was the first time since when I was a kid that I felt comfortable having a vocal coach. And it took a lot in me to build up the courage to even reach out and say, like, I need support. I would love to work with you. Because I admire you. I think you are beautiful, gorgeous, eclectic, sparkly, right? Like all the things that are desirable and shiny because you're so real. And it's not a facade and it's not fake. And then on top of it, that voice, right?
And I don't have right now.
I know.
This is how she sounds, and that's just with a sore throat right now. Not having a voice. There's no voice there. But don't be offended if that sounds better than your regular singing voice.
No, we would never say that to you.
I'm just like,
But it was so hard for me to build up the courage to actually be in a session with you.
You did so great.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Something that I'm learning, using all of the skills that you taught me, the breathing techniques. Also, who knew that going to vocal therapy would help you in labor?
I love that.
It did.
I love that.
Because the breathing.
Yeah.
it was, I was able to tap into my body already, had memory of it because it was consistent. We were doing it weekly. And literally when I'm in labor, I went to those skills.
Wow.
So I'm like, wow, as I'm birthing another being,
Yes.
there was a death of myself.
Mm-hmm.
There was a moment where I was just confused, not quite sure who I was. And the reoccurring thing that kept coming through was like, Sienna, this is my inner child saying to me, like, go after the thing you really want to do. Like, you have to do it. Because then how are you going to confidently say, how are you going to encourage Messiah to go after his dreams when you are capable right now to do it?
Yeah.
So I'm going to let my inner child ask this question.
Okay.
And the question is, am I good enough? That's what she always admired the talents in the people around her, but always felt like inadequate or unworthy to share the stage with them. And I know that that's no one's responsibility to give me that answer, but I'm doing inner child work, and I'm getting emotional right now. I'm doing inner child work, and I believe in pushing myself past my bounds, because this isn't about the facade of things. Like, I really want to do the work, and that's the question. There you go.
Are you good enough?
Yeah.
You like baby Sienna.
Yeah.
For good enough for what?
To be a singer.
What is your definition of good? I'm talking to little Sienna.
Likeable.
To who?
The people I want to create with and hang out with and be a part.
So this takes me back to location. Location. Man, this actually came up this morning, talking about Jesus was from Nazareth. People in Nazareth didn't know Jesus as others knew him as. When he went back to Nazareth, they're like, ain't that Mary's boy? Ain't that Joseph's? Isn't he a carpenter? Miracles.
Right.
Miracles. Yeah. Jesus. Literally. Literally.
Right.
Location. Location. The answer is absolutely, you're good enough to do whatever you want. Whatever you want. If you have an idea of what good is, that's not you. Now we have dissociation. As if the version of you that's good enough is something across the street. Right? So like you're sitting in the audience looking at you on the stage instead of being on the stage looking at the audience. Something that's like, so the good enough piece, location wise, right? It's all about intention. What you truly want to do is not be Beyonce.
No.
Right?
Well, you know that.
But you're in Los Angeles, right? This is an industry town. So a lot of it that's taught is like, almost you can't be celebratory of other art.
Right.
Because that makes you corny. Or that makes you not the star. Or that makes you seem like a fan. Why can't we be fans of each other?
Oh, I'm such a fan, and I think
I'm
that's
such a
why.
fan.
Like, we be front, right at the edge of the stage, like.
Because that's love.
For real. But if you look, literally, if I showed you my iTunes phone my library, it's all of our friends. Like, it literally, I'm like, why would I listen to anything else? Like, why am I not listening to the people that I know
And love.
?
Well, the reason why is because that individualism, right? You got to get it on your own. But that's also, it's very insidious. It's a spirit of isolation. It's like, but again, back to location, just so I can finish this statement. When I was in Honduras, the location really mattered. First day I was there, somebody was like, oh, I'm a bass player. And I was like, cool. They were like, I have a gig later. I was like, I'm a singer. They were like, do you want to sing? And I was like, okay. So then I came and I sang. And people liked my singing. And then they were like, great. And so then there was this karaoke that they do a couple of days later. And there's like 100, maybe 150 people in this place. Like it's like outdoor, the water's right there. And they encored me. And it was like, but it was, you know, people, and then people came, they like swarmed me after and hugged me. And we're just like, yeah, like that would never happen here. Right. Never ever.
Right.
And so okay, wow. I'm seen, I'm celebrated, I'm appreciated.
And look at how much you got done.
I got so much done, but also I felt so
when you were relaxed.
Free in my gifts, relaxed. So then a couple days later, every single Monday, they do a jam session. They set up all the stuff. About 50 people come to a house, and whoever wants to sing and play. I sang for like an hour and a half. I did a show.
Yeah, you did.
It was so fun.
Let's go.
It's fantastic. And people are like, wow, you're incredible. People are calling their family members, putting them on FaceTime. And I'm like, what's your name, baby girl? Singing things like location. And so then, you should make a visual. I'm like, you know, I actually have a song. They're like, you have a song? I'm like, I have a lot of songs. They're like, you have songs? And I'm like, yeah. Play them the song. This song is perfect. It's bossa nova. This is exactly the types of things we listen to here. Able to make the video with ease. Do you want to be the main guy? Okay. Do you want to play the guitar? Sure. Do you want to play the sure. Everybody's like, sure. You're on an island. And this is fun. This is something to do.
Right.
In fact, let's take a picture.
Right.
Let's take a picture because you're clearly going to be famous one day.
Right.
Because you're incredible.
Right.
Location. That would never happen here. And so this was the juxtaposition.
Whoa.
Okay?
Yep.
So it was one day, I walked down to the end of the beach and God was like, go like all the way to the end. So I was like, okay. So I go and I sit there. I'm putting my song. I'm listening to it because I had found a videographer and a director by that time. And so I'm listening to it to get into the feel of it. And I'm like in the water and I'm dancing to it. And this guy is like, yo, you look great. Like, what are you listening to? I was like, it's actually my song. I was like, do you want to hear it? He's like, sure. So I have my little speaker that I would carry in my bag all the time. You know, take my little Wonder Boom out, put it down, play the song. And the guy is like, whoa, like, this is you? Like, this is, can you send this to me like right now? And so he's beyond him. He's like calling his brother out the water. His brother listens to half, tells his girlfriend to get out the water. They're just like beside themselves, just pouring love, pouring love, pouring love. I walk around. This is after being there for like a week and a half, maybe almost 2 weeks. I'm walking around, and mind you, this is energy that I've been experiencing because I've been had this speaker because I have to galvanize community to create this video.
Right.
After we made the decision, I was like, all right,
we're doing this. Okay.
I can do it.
Right.
So just gonna play people the song, and they're gonna like it, and they're gonna come, and they did. And so, again, community. This trip healed it was the fullness. It was the stamp on God saying, I need you to go back into community. So many layers, so much work, all culminating to this moment where God specifically said, I did not send you here to be set apart. You are not here to be a teacher. You're not here to be big. You are here to be small. You're here to be feminine. You are here to be a little girl. You do not have to have those same protections. You're safe here. Be immature. I said, you ain't gotta tell me twice. I was outside like, don't, in the water, what? Everything. They're like, oh, we'll be there. I had secured the location for one of the scenes in the video. This place is called Cafe de Palo. She had just confirmed 2 to 5 on Wednesday. Come, right? So we got a location. So cool, we'll be there. So I'm walking back around, and I walk in front of this like hotel, beachfront little like boutique-y hotel that I go to pretty much every day. And there's these black girls sitting in front of it that I'd never seen before. They had just come in town. And I saw them earlier when I was walking by, kids in the water, mom was in the water, spoke for a second. When I'm walking back, ended up just chit-chatting a little bit. They were asking about food, and I asked them where they were from. They're from Carson. I was like,
wow.
oh. I was like, dope, I'm from Inglewood. And they were like, but this is them. Oh, cool. Okay, now mind you, I've been here in Rotan for now 2 weeks, right? Where people are like, oh, like everything is like connected and open, right? So I'm getting real time, like
Duality
being able to
different.
see it. And so they're like, okay, cool. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, so I'm actually gonna be shooting a music video here like next week. And they're like, oh, okay. Like, this is why you came. I was like, no. I was like, honestly, I've been here for a couple weeks. Like, people, I've made so many friends here. You know, it's just this one long street. You see the same people 12 times a day, you know, if you're open. And they're like, oh, okay. I was like, do y'all want to hear the song? They were like, yeah. So I go and I sit and I play the song. And while I'm playing the song, they're like listening, they're talking to, but luckily I have buoyancy now because I've been so praised, so embraced, so loved, so seen that I'm able to be like, oh, okay. And so then it gets to the end. One of them goes, pretty voice, right? Exactly. And I was like, thank you. And then the other one was like, man, like pretty voice, like that body, like I could at least get one, right? And I was like, I mean, you know, cool. Fine. Everybody is where they are at the time. But I got to see, oh, this is what I grew up with. This is what I'm used to. So as I'm trying to figure out how to show my gifts, I'm in a home where that's not necessarily being pulled out of me or celebrated either. I got a lot of baggage, a lot of damage. So coming back to the piece of I'm the teacher, my divine gift is to be able, I have a it's called righteous judgment, which when it's not righteous is just judgment, and I'm so sorry. Look, I had to grow to this place, okay? But I have really great discernment to be able to see into people what belongs and what does not belong, which is why I'm so good at my job.
That's very true.
But if you did not invite me to do this service, then I am now judgmental.
Got you.
'Kay. Right.
Because it's like, leave that.
If you don't have ears to hear, you speak with those with ears to hear, right? Otherwise you just, and it's also, I had to learn love myself, right? So the ways in which I would disseminate information now would be quite different than I would as an immature me. And so either way, I was having concepts about what it meant to have a free voice that I was using on myself that were working, that I was teaching. But then there was this level of, I'm working with artists who are signed to labels and actors who are on screen. I'm working with people who already have the audacity piece. They might need to work on the gift, but the audacity they have in spades, they're already on the stage. They're already performing. So I get to see my hunches come to life.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I haven't gotten to that audacity piece because I'm still working on it through myself.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense.
Right?
Yep.
So as things are happening, it's like, okay, then people come to me and they're like, okay, like, this is working, but I'm still feeling this and this. I'm like, okay, let me go more in depth into how trauma shows up into the body again. I discovered the emotion code, which, were you working with me at the time when I had discovered the emotion code? Like releasing trapped emotions from the body, we were utilizing a muscle test?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, okay. Yep. Okay. So that was at the beginning of it. And it was very analog, right? And you're very intuitive, so I'm certain that you were probably able to fill in things more quickly than others were. Then it got to a space where people would be like, okay, I've released all these trapped emotions from my body. Same thing for me. But I still feel anxious sometimes. And I'm like, okay, cool, interesting. So I'll never forget, there was one day I was sitting at my piano. I had just finished teaching all these people. It was transformative. It was amazing. And I hear this voice, and the voice is like, are you sure you want to keep building this business? Are you sure you want to train that other coach?
Ooh.
Are you sure you want to put out music?
Ooh.
And I'm like, at this point, because I spend so much time with God, this voice is foreign.
Right.
Versus my younger self, I'm sure this voice felt like my thoughts.
Yes.
And so I'm like, now I had just, the Bible talks about test the spirits because every spirit is not of me. I went, what spirit is this? And I heard doubt. And I was like, oh. And then I went, Holy Spirit, is this doubt? And I heard yes. And I was like, am I safe? And I heard yes. And I was like, all right, doubt. Because the book was telling me the best thing you can do is say, all right, more.
Yeah. See, but that
Yes.
is literally the key.
Yes.
That's the key. It's like you see the shadow, you lean into the shadow. Shadow only exists because light. Like,
So watch this. So I'm like, and this is the first time I've ever had this separation, right? It really truly was like angel, devil, right? And so I'm like, what do you have to say? And so just starts talking. Do you really want to put out music? Do you really want to build this company? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Because it's doubt, right? That's all that doubt does. Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And then it said, don't you want to go live on an island? And I said, oh, it's been you. Because I would always say, like, sometimes I want to build these dreams that God says. Sometimes I just want to go live on an island. It was doubt. Sowing a seed to get me to release the seed that had been given to me.
Ooh.
And so I was like, and at this point I didn't have any more tools, but I said, I cast out the spirit of doubt in Jesus' name. Doubt. And I heard, yes. And I said, what do you have to say? And then I heard it talking, but it was getting muffled, like it was getting further away. So then I was like, I cast out the spirit of doubt in Jesus' name. And then I was like, doubt? Nothing. What do you have to say? Nothing. I said, oh, y'all done messed up now. And what God showed me as I was talking to doubt was that doubt was like a little gnome, but like floorboard small, really small. And I was the light. And when doubt is typically talking to us, or when something is talking, fear, judgment, inadequacy is talking to us, because we don't want to believe the things, we are moving in fear by going, no, I don't believe that. What I believe that I am good, I am special, I am enough. The thing's still there.
Right.
And because you are the light, you are casting shadow on little gnome. Now little gnome looks like big gnome. But because I cast my full light on it, I could see it was tiny. And I could see that all it could do was talk. You actually don't have any power at all. Huh. Yeah, that changed everything.
Yep.
So now the trapped emotions in the body were one level of it. But then people being able to go, what spirit is this? And for it to say suicide. And for us to say, what do you have to say? And for them to be able to hear all of the dialogue separate from themselves. What impact are you having on me? What impact are you having on my body?
Yep.
Where do you live? How long have you been here?
Yep.
Did I absorb you from someone else?
Yep.
Do you know I'm a child of God?
Yep.
Do you know that I'm powerful?
Yep.
Do you know that if I tell you I leave, you have to?
Yeah.
And they're going to answer yes.
Yes. Well, yes. Yeah.
it's giving that unconditional love that you spoke of, creating the space, not trying to change it, like, right? So you're loving. It's like, okay, here, I'm not trying to change you. And also, I have boundaries, so you can
gotta
go.
No, you gotta go. And you literally can't come back.
Yeah.
Not welcome there.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. And it's just, I feel bad for the demons sometimes because I would hate us too, to be honest, because they're damned.
That's hard.
It's hard.
If we're thinking everything is going to fail,
Yes.
then it can very well fail.
Yeah.
It can. Or we can focus on, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling anxious, and I'm going to lean into this anxiety. I'm understanding I'm fearing failing, but I cannot fail. This is my purpose. This is my calling. This is who I am.
Yes.
I love this story.
Yes.
I'm excited to see what is coming
Yeah.
now that we are claiming this newfound, what would you call it?
I'm just being myself.
This newfound self that never needed to be found because it's just you.
Yeah. It's like, it's been in a continuation of like stripping off layers of performance that I didn't know existed. When I was 4, I grew up in a household where my parents were both very successful entrepreneurs. Our home was a business. There was people in our home all the time. At 4 years old, I remember picking up the phone and going, "Thank you for calling the Wilson's residence. This is Gabrielle. I've been a business since I was a kid."
Ooh, that's a long legacy. Well, it makes it, because I'm even looking at your siblings and I'm looking at you, and I think from an outsider's perspective, your parents did a really good job at teaching you guys how to create an empire, hold a legacy, like have a solid plan, and then like see it through. Just from the outside, that's what I have gotten.
Yes, you are correct. What they did is Michael Jackson, if you want to make the world a better place, but take a look at yourself and make the change. Mm-hmm. The things that they said were not verbal. They just did stuff. So it was like, ooh, I have this idea. And then they would do the thing. I want to write a book. They would write a book. They would put the book out. They would go speak about the book. People would invite them places. I want to do this. They would do the thing. Neither one of them had college degrees. I only have one sister who has a college degree. I love her so much. Her name is Christy Joy. Shout out to you, Christy Joy. She has 5 kids. She's a stay-at-home mom. Well, actually, no, she works for Uncle Nearest now. She's our social media.
Let's
You're amazing.
go.
And, but she spent a lot of money on a degree that, she had a good time. I love that for her. She's the only one that went to school. And everybody else very successful.
Listen, guys, did you hear this? Any youngins that are watching this right now, really soak that up, because I know that that's not typically what is encouraged, that you can follow your dreams, you can be an entrepreneur, you don't have to go to college, No. So to hear, not even just hear, you're a living example, and your family and your legacy is a living example of what it looks like to believe in yourself and what comes through.
But also never stop educating yourself. Just because you don't go to school, I went to my own school. I just decided to learn all the things I liked. I read a lot. I watch things that inspire me. I have mentors all over the world. Everyone I talk to has something to teach me. You have something to teach me. Like literally, it's so much information distilled for you to have imparted in you exactly what you need to do, whatever it is that you want to do. But don't think that just because you got raw talent that, okay, that's enough and you didn't go to school and now you're just out there being willy-nilly in the world without any foundational basis. You need character building. You need structure. You need to know how to move through the world with your crown on. You really need to know how to be diplomatic, especially when we're talking about community. Learning how to be community is learning how to accept people, all people different from you, and not change them, to love them, and to be within it, to be able to maneuver in a way that keeps your grace and your poise and your class without diminishing who you are at any facet. You remove yourself if you don't need to be there. You go to places to be divinely guided. Even being with God is a practice. It's diligent.
It is. Yeah, it's not easy.
It's daily.
It's a practice.
It's a practice. It's daily, and I think when we're real about it, that sometimes it is exhausting, sometimes because it's like
every day?
it's a daily thing.
I gotta do this every day?
Yeah.
Like there's no day that goes by where I could just like yeah, you can do that if you want your day to be chaotic. Go ahead, go on, wake up. Wake up and don't start your morning right. And just get on your phone and just start talking to people. Yeah, how'd that work out last time you did that?
Not that great.
Stressful.
Listen, having morning practices, morning routines, and sleep regimens and night practices really are beneficial. We can talk about that further at a later date.
Yeah. Yes.
Are you willing to do an experiential exercise with
course.
me? Yes? Okay. So typically on Into the Cave, we do some sort of grounding, some sort of offering. It's never rehearsed. It's never something that was already written, already done. And it typically can, at times, pull some emotions through.
I love crying. Make me cry.
You might not. You might not. You might not.
I'm into it.
Okay. Now.
Oh, disclaimer. This whole situation with my voice actually is coming back. I had a parasite when I went to Honduras. It's very hot there. It's very different types of bacteria everywhere you go travel. Traveling is amazing. You should travel. Take black charcoal with you. So I am a vocal coach without a voice right now, but you just go to my social media and you see that I do have a voice most of the time.
She does. And it is a beautiful, powerful, inspirational, uplifting voice. So I have two options.
Okay.
I have two exercises in mind and you can pick.
Okay.
One exercise does involve singing. But I know we can try.
It'll be fun.
I think it will be fun.
Be like, where's that note?
I think it will. It's almost like we're switching roles. You know what I mean? Like, you've heard me crack many, 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 many times. So, so the way we do it is we will reset. We will sit on nice little comfy pillows situations and we'll vibe.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yep.
So I've decided we're actually going to do both exercises because I think we have time. It won't be long. There's a self-discovery exercise that I do, and we go through a series of questions. You will be timed for a minute.
Yes.
For each question, and you're just going to repeat whatever comes up. So whatever's natural to you, you're not going to think too much about it. You're just going to say it out loud.
Yes.
And I'm just going to repeatedly ask the question.
Yes.
Each time I ask, you answer. And then the buzzer will go off, and then we'll move to the next question.
Okay.
And then we'll shift to the next exercise.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yes. Got it.
Okay, we got the timer ready? Perfect. Okay. Who are you?
Child of God.
Who are you?
A lover.
Who are you?
A friend.
Who are you?
A special little girl.
Who are you?
A woman.
Who are you?
An artist.
Who are you?
A healer.
Who are you?
Fun.
Who are you?
Silly.
Who are you?
A lover of music.
Who are you?
A lover of people.
Who are you?
An author.
Who are you?
A scribe.
Who are you?
Someone who does their best every day.
Who are you?
A world changer.
I think that's time.
All right.
Okay, great job. We're going to move to the next question.
K.
Okay. And the question is, Who do you pretend to be?
Energized all the time.
Who do you pretend to
You know, it's who have I pretended to be is
Got
also
you.
what this question is.
be? Okay.
Because your girl ain't there.
Yes.
Who have
Who
I?
have you pretended to be?
Who have I pretended to be? Like super. I mean, I could be both super feminine,
Yeah. Who have you? Me too. Who have you pretended
where I'd
to
like
be?
judge this version, where I'm like, I can only show the part that's like. It's like, no, girl. Who have I pretended to be? Plain.
Who have you pretended to be?
Versions of myself that I thought others wanted.
Who have you pretended to be? Right.
Who have I pretended to be? Isolated.
That's time.
Beautiful. Okay. We're going to move to the next exercise.
Okay.
So, the way this exercise works, there's a bowl here,
Okay.
and there's different pieces of paper with different questions on them.
Okay.
Some pieces have multiple questions on them, some just have one. You get to choose whatever question you want to lean into. The way you're answering it is through song.
Okay.
So if you want, you could read the question through song and then go into your answer.
Okay.
And then the time will go off, and then you'll be done, and then I'll pull one, and I will do the same thing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna answer the question. I love this game. It's gonna be a Tony Braxton song, all right? Because the only parts of my voice that I got are these bottom parts. Okay.
That's fine. Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. How do you think your actions today will influence the future? Joy in the morning, joy in the evening time. I think my actions will affect the future by being kind to my neighbor, by being kind to the barista, really to just everybody. Smile, 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 or not. Be real, be honest, be yourself. That is how I will influence the future, today and every day. Amen.
Love it. Okay, my turn.
How many more seconds did I have?
You have 5 more seconds.
Okay.
It was good. Good. Okay. How does your vision of your legacy influence your decisions and actions today? Ooh. The way my vision influences my decisions. I now trust my gut. I know my feelings are enough. I lean into discomfort. I surrender to trust. I know things will work out. Things will work out. Yes, that's how. How much time?
You have 10 more seconds.
Look at that. Oh, no. Okay. My actions. My actions look like resting, saying a little prayer, asking for guidance.
I think you go have to do
And I do that.
Good job.
Thank you. I'm like, thank you. Thank you for coming to the unstructured, free flow, free form dive in, and
Thank you for
we'll
having
see the
me.
magic.
I have fun, and I love you.
I love you.
Oh, wait. Rested hug. Okay. Oh, isn't that nice? That is. Look at me, because I, squeeze it. It's tight.